vehicles. Jeremy Locke is with Aerial Recovery, and take me through the last 24 hours for you and some of these water rescues that you've seen.
Yeah, the last 24 hours have been pretty intense for us, especially last night as we moved down from Nashville, Tennessee. We stayed just northeast of Tampa, and we were riding the storm out as well. Those winds that were just showcased by meteorologists were very heavy. And when we start getting our tickets, as we call them, these are requests for people that need to be evacuated immediately because of these high flood levels and the storm surge that came in. And we actually pushed out to one of those about 2 a.m. and just in northeastern Tampa, we were able to rescue 7, to include a pregnant woman and a young 2-year-old, where the water level had reached up to their chests and was very much threatening their lives. So we're out there to help as best we can. And now we're down in Sarasota and looking down towards Venice as well to see what help we can do down here with emergency response teams.
Any indication on how many people may still be in need of help? Are you still getting those calls coming in?
We have a team up in North Carolina as well. We did respond to Helene, but it's not. Thankfully, it did slow down and it did weaken before it made landfall. So I expected honestly to see it a lot worse when we got down here towards Sarasota and Venice. I'm not saying there weren't a lot of people affected by this storm, but our calls have not been as high as we expected, and thank God for that, to be honest.
Yeah, well, and this is when we like to be wrong, right? We want to over-prepare and make sure that it's better to be safe than sorry. But the recovery is extensive, right? There's a lot of damage. Tell me what you have seen as you've driven around, the extent of some of the destruction.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that storm surge that was, 10, 12 feet in places. We've seen the heavy wind damage, power lines down. There's a lot of cell signals out. There's a lot of power out. There's a lot of people that had their entire lives wrecked. And, it's everywhere. This was a big storm that came through. I don't want to minimize it, but we're just out here just trying to help as many people as we possibly can. But it's widespread, that's for sure.
Tell me about the logistics of these rescues, and what is your group comprised of, Jeremy? I know you've got veterans and first responders, but who's involved?
Yeah, so logistically, we get down and we pre-position before these hurricanes come in, and we find a nice hard structure to stand at. And I'm a former special operator. I retired Green Beret out of 5th Special Forces Group. A lot of my guys and gals are former special operators, fire, EMS, and we go out and we utilize our skills to keep continued service. To be honest with you, that continued service helps us when we transition out of the military and our first responder communities.
I know you're in touch with your teams in North Carolina who are still just devastated by Helene. What does that situation look like right now, and how does that stretch resources then?
It does. My organization's small. We're out of Nashville, Tennessee. We've only been around for about 5 years, but we've had huge impact. We've been over, 24 responses internationally. Normally we handle one response at a time, but thank goodness there's so many volunteers that are ready to come out. These storms, while they are terrible, it does bring the United States together. It brings citizens together. And we've seen so much support for my group. We've seen so much support for great organizations like the American Red Cross that you showcased a little bit earlier. So we're just happy to be out here helping. I'm really proud of the guys and gals in North Carolina, because that was a once in 100-year storm that's up there. And they're going to be working real hard and tirelessly to help those that are trapped up in those upper mountain regions. And some of those people's lives, it's going to take years to recover if they're ever to be able to recover in a lot of those situations and locations.
Jeremy, there are so many helping hands and there's so much more good in this world. But in these moments when people are vulnerable, there are those looking to take advantage. What is your warning and message as you do your work and what you see on scammers who are out there who are looking to make a mess of an already bad situation?
Yeah, and I'm very glad that you showcased that, because Aerial Recovery is also an anti-human trafficking organization. And where there are vulnerable people, there are those that are coming in to take advantage. So you have amazing human beings that are out there trying to help people, but you have very nefarious bad actors who are out here to take advantage of people and to harm people. So we're out here spreading the word to not just trust anybody and don't just get into any car. And there are people that are out here that are looking to harm you and take advantage of you. So be very careful. Use reputable organizations, talk to people, go and talk to the professionals, the EMS, the fire, the police that are out here. And I know you're in a desperate spot, but take a second to pause, think, and then respond, because you don't necessarily know that person who's saying they're there to evacuate you.
Yeah, be on guard. Jeremy, you're one of the good guys. Thanks for you and your team at Aerial Recovery for all that you're doing. We'll stay in touch, okay? And be safe.
Thank you so much, Barney.